Assalamualaikum everyone. Hi. Today we're going to look into the chapter 6, the final chapter of our subject, which is planning the newsletters. And this point of topic, we will see about audience, the purpose, survey needs, publication policy, newsletter content, and the interdisciplinary newsletters. So in the aspect of audience, you need to identify who is your audience. You cannot simply say that everyone will going to read your publication. You have to determine the audience needs and interests. Who is the primary and secondary audience, for example, whether they are the parents, the guardians, the grandparents, the students, the lecturers, the board members, or whoever there is, you need to identify who is your audience, because all this demographic information can help you to identify the content that should be included in your publication later on. And the purpose of the publication, you need to identify the goal of your newsletter publication. It should have a primary mission. For example, you wanted to educate them into specific topic. You want to inform them about specific information. So this goal should be identified first, and then you look into the whether the newsletter is intended to motivate or provide positive atmosphere, to disseminate information, whether it is to educate parents about learning, to help with teaching at home, and etc. So these kinds of purposes need to be identified so that your content of the newsletter are not going out of track. And in order for you to understand the content that should be given to the audience, a survey can be done to find out what the parents or the audience wants. For example, in this case, we are considering we are creating a newsletter for the children, the school children, for their parents to see about their school information. So, getting your student involved with asking what should be included in the survey, and you might do a paper survey, online survey, or simple interview for some parents. And some of the questions might include this one, like would you read a newsletter from our classroom? What information would you like to see in the newsletter? And in the publication policy, it is about the procedure or the agreement of what should be included and not to be included. For example, is there a policy regarding the use of student names, the student photograph, you having their consent to publish their pictures, or any other personal information. And this policy also covers the use of organization logo on publication. If there is any funding for your reproduction of the newsletter, should you put their logo or their consent in the document? So this policy should be considered earlier before you go for publication of your newsletter. And in the form of policy, some of the topic that should be covered or should be discussed further is like the respect differing opinions, the public forum where students can share ideas, because some ideas are very, uh, I would say, extreme and require few discussion and few filtration, so that the idea or the writings is not too offensive to any parties. And reserve the right to edit materials for length or content, reserve the right to deny publication for inappropriate, offensive, or poor quality work, then strive to report news accurately and objectively, and so on. So this policy will be the disclaimer or the statement that cover up the safety of the newsletter. So in terms of the newsletter content, commonly it needs to be decided and according to your purpose and also your goals of the newsletter. Some of the recommendation is like this: the student generated content, for example, like the current events, talking about special events, awards, local news, global news, or you can also have the feature article like academic topics, culture connection, real world experience, and etc. Can also go for opinion articles, the artwork, class survey, prose, poetry, resources, and so on. And for the interdisciplinary newsletter, sometimes the content is um, not, I would say, not out of track, but You wanted to have the different kind of content in your newsletter. So it can be, we can have a very interesting information. For example, part of the newsletter is talking about technology, for example, and part of the newsletter is talking about the moral of the technology. Okay, and then about the topical theme, you can consider tema lah. You can consider the theme of your article in the newsletter, for example, like about environment, the ecosystem, the body system, the math and science aspect in our life, and so on. You can also put like a community connection, oral histories, the historical theme, put information like figure like Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, any war heroes, the cross grade level and generational provide student with publication to help them write an appropriate reading level, personal newsletters, activities newsletters, and so on. You can provide a lot of contents in your newsletters as long as they are appropriate to the goals of your newsletters. And these are some of the ideas that you can do for the activity newsletters. For example, like recommend activities that parents and children can do collaboratively, suggest a book or book series to read together, promote interaction, consider activities that will reinforce classroom activities without sounding like homework, provide quality websites, or even ask survey questions. So that would be all for the chapter 6, and thank you.